This is a recording of this year's Virtual Residency Fair. We'd like to take the time to thank the programs that volunteered their time to present to this year's applicants. This year's PM&R Scholars Virtual Residency Fair is supported by PM&R Recap and Ultrasound Guidance. PM&R Recap is the leading resource for your physiatry board preparation, clinical preparation, audition rotations, and beyond. PM&R Recap offers 35 hours of review videos, hundreds of review questions, and oral board cases to help you become the best physiatrist that you can be. Head to pmnrrecap.com to learn more. Ultrasound Guidance is the innovative new online ultrasound learning platform that gives you instant access to expert instruction. With rapid scans and complete scans of every joint and peripheral nerve, Ultrasound Guidance is the perfect way to jumpstart your MSK ultrasound learning. Visit ultrasoundguidance.com to learn more.
So I'm Anna Woods. I'm our chief resident for University of Nebraska. If you guys have any questions, you can either just interrupt me or put it in the chat and I'll look at them at the end. Whatever works for you guys works for me. So we're located in Omaha, Nebraska, primarily, but also in Lincoln. And this is our staff. Some of the new faculty coming on isn't in this picture, but this is the staff and then residents as well.
So I can't see anything. I just see a black screen.
All right, give it a try. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, there we go. Like, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so I can go back to the beginning here. So this is our residents and then some of our faculty. We do have some new faculty that aren't pictured here. And so this Dr. Berner is our department chair, and then Dr. Weaver is our program director. Dr. Anderson is our brain injury fellowship director and also runs our brain injury unit. Dr. Schneider was my chief resident when I was a second year, and she will start at September 1st. She completed a spinal cord injury fellowship. And then Dr. Choi, he does our pain medicine. He's both at the VA and then also at UNMC. He's 50-50 faculty. Dr. Krabenhoff, we all call him Dr. K. He also does spinal cord injury medicine out in the Lincoln campus, which is about 45-50 minutes from our main campus. And then Dr. Pierce, he did a quality improvement fellowship, but he does primarily all of our EMGs at the VA and then also consults at the Med Center. So this is kind of just an example of our rotation. So intern year, I think it's a really good mix of internal medicine and then also the other things we need for rotation. So a lot of neurology and stroke, emergency medicine, trauma. I really liked the categorical program. We're categorical only, so it really prepared me well for second year and then ongoing. And then second year is primarily inpatient. It's about 2/3 inpatient, and then a quarter of the time, or then the other third is about outpatient. And then third year is really nice. It's all outpatient. And then fourth year is kind of a hybrid of the two. So this is kind of just another way of looking at it for our program. One thing that's really nice with our program is as you go through your program, so first year is a typical intern year, you work most weekends and most call, but then as you go through, you take less call. And then fourth year, you don't work any weekends and no holidays and no call. So it's something to really look forward to as you're going through. I would say our call is pretty laid back in the aspect of time commitment, so it's really nice. And then as far as didactics, we have it every Tuesday and it's protected time. And then every resident presents on a journal club. And also we do monthly MSK ultrasound didactics, which is hands-on with our program director. And then the third and fourth years, I'll give a high yield lecture. So it's nice because then you can build up your teaching like portfolio for later on in your, if you decide to go into academics, and then also M&M conferences at the second year residents do. And then other things you do is during your third year, we pair up with our rheumatology department to do cadaver lab, which was really cool because I got to practice injections that I was a little nervous to do on patients, like doing the plantar fascia and things like that. And then also get hands-on fluoroscopy training and neurotoxin training. And then We cover at least one of the high school football teams in the area. If you're interested in sports medicine, then you can take on a team on your own. So it's really just dependent on how many people in your class want to do sports. And then also we are the doctors for the Lancers hockey team, which is like I think it's an amateur league is what it's technically described as for 18 to 20-year-olds. And it's pretty cool because you get to do all of the coverage for that as well for any injuries that happen during those games. And then these are the training sites that we have. So Madonna Rehabilitation Hospital is our main rehab hospital that we go to. There's one in Omaha and one in Lincoln. That's always a daunting thing when people are interviewing in our program, but it is only a 45 or 50-minute drive, and they do provide free housing there, which is super nice because then you get the food there and you get to stay there and don't have to worry about gas or anything. And then the medical center in Omaha, the VA, and then Children's Hospital. So this is kind of a map here of where everything is. It looks like it's really far apart, but you can get anywhere in Omaha in about 15 minutes. So it's really not a daunting drive at any point. Sometimes I'll be at both hospitals and it's like 15, 20 minutes max in between. And then as you can see here, our residents live all over the city. So it just shows how easy it is to get around because you can live wherever you want and not have to worry about, which hospital you're working at or any of those things. And then Madonna is one of 3 freestanding rehab hospitals that has an LTAC. And so that's really cool because we get a lot of patients that maybe aren't medically stable or can't handle the 3 hours of therapy. So they go to our LTAC and then they'll come up to us to get the max amount of therapy they can get. And we also get to do a month of LTAC as interns to see that different level of complexity that you have there. And then Madonna was named Modern Healthcare the 4th largest rehab hospital in the nation based on patient revenue. And we have a cancer rehabilitation program, which I think is really unique just because sometimes we don't get to see cancer patients until we're done with training, but here we get to. And we also are a disorders of consciousness program as well. So our residency suite is really fancy. It's really nice. There's 2 different computer rooms, as you can see, and then also a big break room that we all eat lunch together, and then 2 really large bathrooms with showers in case you want to stay there, and a resident room you can sleep in. We don't take in-house call though, so I think only one resident's ever used it during like a big snow, but otherwise it's just there due to the ACGMU requirements for that, but it is nice. And then this is our coordinator, Carrie. She's the backbone of our program. She's always happy to help with anything, whether it's residency or outside of residency stuff. She's offered to watch my dog 1,000 times. She's just probably one of the best people I've ever met. So she's very important for our program. And then here's kind of the benefits of our program. You get 20 working days paid vacation and 5 education days and 5 sick days is about what it comes out to each year. So it's a pretty lenient vacation. So you don't have to take all 5 days at once. You can take 1 this week and then 2 the other week. So it's pretty good in that aspect. And then another cool thing is that your direct family members get 15 hours of credit hours per semester. So that goes towards undergraduate. I'm doing a master's program right now that it's being covered in. So that's really nice. And then there's multiple gym options on campus, 3 of which are free. Otherwise, there's a very discounted, a little bit fancier gym as well that you can do. And then we get $300 of education funds a year and then 1 paid conference. So all 4 of us 4th years are going to PM&R together this year in New Orleans. And then here's a list of our salaries. Then kind of where our graduates go, we are a newer program. So we've had 3 classes graduate. The first class both went into interventional, so 1 pain, 1 sport and spine. The 2022 class, 1 went general and 3 did fellowships. And then in the most recent graduating class, 2 went into fellowships and 2 went into general PM&R. So why choose to come to Omaha? It is in the middle of the United States, which is nice. You can get anywhere from here pretty easily. And also the downtown life, there's a lot of different bar districts and a lot of different restaurants to go to. They always have different art stuff and farmers markets and a lot of different fairs you can go to. We do fight for #1 for the best zoo in the country. Sometimes we drop down to like 2 or 3, but it is, in my opinion, second to none. It has some of the coolest stuff I've seen. I just went there this past week. And so it's a fun place, especially if you have kids, for that sort of stuff. And then we are the hosts of the College World Series every year. Some of our faculty, not our core PM&R faculty, but the emergency medicine, sports med, and some of our ortho doctors do work the College World Series. So that's something to come and see. Even if you don't end up coming to Omaha, it's one of the coolest experiences I've had is going to the College World Series. It brings in a lot of revenue to Omaha, and it's just a really fun experience. And then some random facts. Our coordinator loves giving us random facts, so we like to share those with everybody else. But Omaha means upstream or against the current. It's the 29th largest city in the US. I like to call it a little big city. It has everything you need in a major city besides major league sports teams, but it doesn't feel like you're overwhelmed in a major city. And then, like I mentioned, the College World Series is here. And another fun fact, I'm a big foodie. We have a really good culinary school here. So we do have the most non-chain restaurants per capita in the United States. And Warren Buffett does live here. And we do have a lot of different biking trails, running trails. I wouldn't really call it hiking necessarily, but you can get anywhere around the state and around Iowa based on biking trails. And then this is the photo op that everyone has to get. You have to go across the pedestrian bridge so you can stand in Nebraska and Iowa at the same time. So that's one thing everybody has people do to come see the views. And then Loess Hills, it's basically where you can go right on the top of the bluffs and you can look over all the bluffs. It's a pretty cool thing to see. And then just some other community outreach things that we do here is we have Special Olympics, so you can offer to coach if you want to make that time commitment coaching some of the sports teams, or you can volunteer at their major events. Like I've done the swim meets and some of the volleyball events. And then the Blade 5K, which is a fundraiser for individuals with amputations, and you get to run alongside them. So you can either run the race or you can volunteer. I ran it this year and it was a pretty fun experience and a humbling experience to get to do that race, as well as getting involved with the Nebraska Adapted Sports. And then the Spokes Fighting Strokes, they come to Madonna and kind of just help people find other ways to get adaptive equipment, such as like adapted bicycles and things like that. And then we all love to hang out with each other. We do a Top Golf every year, and then also an annual golf event that's coming up this weekend. And then we also make a softball team every year, as well as a volleyball team that residents can play on. As you can probably tell from what I just said, we're a pretty athletic program. We like to do sports, but we also like to go out to, dinner or try out a new bar district, those sort of things, like the pictures in the middle here.
4 minutes remaining.
Does anybody have any questions? So we do accept international graduates. We actually have one of our interns is from China. He was a orthopedic surgeon or neurosurgeon, I can't remember which one, and has done a couple fellowships here. But he is he's one of our interns here. So we don't discriminate between DO, MD, and international grads. I'm not sure what our USMLE cutoff is. That's, I guess, not privy to me as the chief resident. But if you did contact our coordinator, Carrie Helmberger, she could probably answer that question for you. And again, don't have a cutoff based off of when you graduated medical school either. And then the question regarding credit hours. So it can be used for anything. So one of our attendings, their spouse is taking, I think, geology and some history stuff. And they're just retired wanting to take extra classes. I'm doing the health educators and academic leaders track. So that is medicine, but it's paid for as well. And it's for your spouses and children. So it can be used for any of them. And then as far as hosting IMGs, yeah, again, we take anybody, there's no discrimination against DOMD or IMG medical students. As far as doing research, so the Lincoln campus has a huge research facility there for Madonna, and then Omaha is almost finished with theirs as well. I did submit a grant with our program director and another resident in conjunction with the like biomedical engineering and department at UNO. And so you can work with them as well.
Hmm, 1 minute left for any last questions.
And if you guys have any questions that you didn't ask, they'll send out our information, both mine and our program coordinators, and we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, well, thanks again for coming tonight. I really appreciate you having you here. Yeah, that information will be released later.